Welcome back, viewers, to another fascinating episode of Top 10s and I. I'm your host and today we're diving into the world of demographics to explore the top 10 countries where women far outnumber men. Get ready to discover some intriguing facts about gender imbalances across the globe. Throughout history, we've seen various factors influencing gender ratios, from cultural traditions to migration patterns. In these 10 countries, women hold a significant numerical advantage over men, and it's time to shed light on this intriguing phenomenon. Join us as we explore these unique corners of the world, where women play a prominent role in shaping society, politics, and even the dating scene. From the empowering effects to the challenges faced by both men and women, let's dive into the top 10 countries where women far outnumber men. 10. Estonia, 52.57%. Along with a number of public health problems related to binge drinking and smoking, Estonia continues to experience the effects of its Second World War participation, just like the other Eastern European countries on this list. The average Estonian guy drinks 17.5 liters of alcohol a year, which is more than twice as much as the average for women. At 12.2 per 100,000 people, Estonia also has one of the highest suicide rates in Europe, with men more than 5 times more likely to take their own lives than women. Every year, around 11,000 Estonians go, either to live and work permanently in other countries or temporarily. The majority of these emigrants are men seeking better job opportunities. 9. Portugal, 52.82%. Since 2010, there have been more women in Portugal than ever before, and gender equality has also increased. The Portuguese economy has faltered in recent years despite these advancements for women, and as a result, many Portuguese males have left the country in search of better opportunities. The most popular destinations for Portuguese males to emigrate to are Brazil and other EU members. The lower life expectancy of Portuguese men contributes to the higher proportion of women in the population. Portuguese males live an average of 78 years, while Portuguese women live an average of 84 years. 8. Zimbabwe, 52.83%. Different nations experience progress in different ways, and as of February 2021, women had 31.9% of the seats in Zimbabwe's parliament. The disproportionate number of women in the population, which can create issues of its own, dampens this positive. Male mortality was at 413% in 2020, which is rather high when compared to the USA's 138%. The likelihood of passing away between the ages of 15 and 60 is represented by this rate. It is very likely that imbalances like the ratio of men to women will settle in the future because Zimbabwe's total mortality rate has dropped over the previous few years. 7. Georgia, 52.98%. With a population of about 3.7 million, Georgia is a very small country. About 52.98% of those are women, and the remaining 47.02% are men. One of the world's oldest Christian states, Georgia has a lengthy history of defending itself against numerous invasions by dominant neighbors like Russia and Turkey. In addition, economic prospects tempt many male residents to leave the area in search of work, which raises the immigration rate. In the end, mortality is the only factor to blame for the demographic imbalance between men and women. Similar to many other nations on this list, excessive drinking, smoking, and risk-taking activities are to blame. 6. Lithuania, 53.07%. Lithuania's male population exhibits the same self-destructive tendencies as its Baltic cousins Latvia. In this country, men are significantly more likely to smoke and abuse alcohol. In this region of the world, smoking is so prevalent that more than 1/3 of Lithuanian men smoke every day and many more do so sometimes. One of the major aims of the Lithuanian health authorities is to discourage cigarette use. Similar to Nepal, Lithuania has suffered from the exodus of its young, productive men in search of better opportunities in other European nations like Germany or England. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Do you have any insights or personal experiences related to gender imbalances in different countries? Leave a comment below and let's continue the conversation. If you found this video intriguing and thought-provoking, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with others who share your curiosity about global demographics. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on the notification bell, so you never miss an episode exploring captivating topics. 5. Russia, 53.55%. Similar to its neighbor Ukraine, Russia can also blame the Second World War's terrible effects for some of this gender inequality. The Soviet Union lost an astounding 27 million people throughout the conflict, the greatest of any country. But there are other factors at play in Russia's larger proportion of women. Russian males are substantially more likely than Estonian or Lithuanian men to develop alcoholism. After the Soviet Union fell apart in the early 1990s, this situation only got worse. The long-term impacts of excessive drinking and everyday cigarette use have been felt by a large portion of Russia's male population for the past 30 years or so. 4. Latvia, 53.68%. Latvia, a small European country on the Baltic Sea coast, has one of the highest female-to-male ratio on the planet. This difference is brought about by a number of self-inflicted risks, which are more prevalent in men in this region of the world. The prevalence of heavy drinking and smoking is substantially higher among Latvian men. Numerous health issues like heart disease and different malignancies are exacerbated by these behaviors. The average life expectancy for men in Latvia is roughly 68, while it is a full 10 years higher for women, at 78. Males have considerably higher rates of suicide than females do. The majority of the world's nations are seeing this alarming trend. 3. Ukraine, 53.71%. The divide between men and women in Ukraine will probably widen as the conflict rages on and the number of victims rises. Despite the dire situation in modern Ukraine, there are not enough men in the country. This problem extends back even before the start of the current conflict with Russia. Many historians concur that the Second World War had such a terrible impact on the male population of Ukraine that it has still not recovered to its pre-World War II levels. This tendency is not expected to change very soon if the Russian and Ukrainian war continues. 2. Belarus, 53.90%. Belarus is one of Eastern Europe's darkest tales, still bearing the scars of its past. The region that would one day become Belarus, located on the border of what was once Nazi Germany, saw complete devastation during the Second World War. Belarus had the most per capita casualties of the war, with more than a quarter of its total population dying in battle. The last actual dictatorship on the continent, Belarus is one of the poorest countries in Europe. There are minimal economic opportunities and low living standards. Due to this, many young men have attempted to flee to other regions of Europe. 1. Armenia, 54.97%. In the 20th century, the ancient nation of Armenia experienced a lot. The nation has not benefited in any way from Soviet rule or wars with their neighbors. The Armenian genocide, which occurred during and after the First World War, has had a significant negative impact on Armenia's ability to produce men. In mass executions or on death marches through the Syrian desert while still subject to Turkish Ottoman control, 1.5 million Armenians were slaughtered. Because of how carefully planned and methodical the killings were, the term genocide was used to describe these actions. The majority of the victims, according to various records, were men. Armenian males have also fled the country in search of employment due to recent economic unrest. Today, there are substantial Armenian communities everywhere. There are sizable Armenian populations in all three countries, Russia, France, and the US. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey into the countries where women far outnumber men. Remember, gender dynamics can vary greatly from one place to another, and understanding these differences broadens our perspective on the world. Stay curious, stay open-minded, and keep exploring the unknown.